Welcome to the NFL's Weekly Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Radio Network, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football game or app where you get to call the plays during a live NFL game and compare them to what everybody else around the country has called. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. Also, check out SteelbergBox.com if you got a Pittsburgh Steeler fan with a birthday coming up. Great place for Pittsburgh Steeler fans to go. There's another place I can think of, too. But check out SteelbergBox.com at www.SteelbergBox.com. As always, I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, and we have finished the regular season in a first-place tie with myself and Matt Andrew Scavage, who both tied and won last week. Leon, again, was last. Leon is now 6 games back. So help me welcome to the show, Leon Searcy. How you doing, Leon?
Good to be here, Mike. Good to be here. I want to thank the Buffalo Bills for helping us get in the dance, and looking forward to this weekend. A lot of great football ahead of us.
Man, at least my team didn't need help from nobody. They done took care of stuff themselves.
Right. That's right. That's right.
And I want to welcome in the man who is tied for first, which of course means he loses all tiebreakers to me. Not Joe. Screwed that up. Matt Andrew Scavage. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great. Good to be here tonight. Look forward to talking some playoff football.
And we got 2 other special guest pickers tonight. We've got from RealBengalsFans.com. He's the founder of the website and the Facebook page, Scott Meyer. How you doing tonight, Scott?
I'm doing great, Mike. I just had to let you know my birthday is this Saturday, so looks like I'm going to have to see that Bengals playoff win for my birthday present this Saturday. It's going to be good.
So I'll tell you what. Now, the last 3 times I've talked to you, you've brought that up. So right now I'm thinking it's not even about the game. I'm thinking maybe you're expecting a freaking present from me.
I was going to ask that, but I figured I'd just let that be.
Yeah.
No,
what do you want for your birthday?
No, just a win, man. Just a W from the Bengals. That's it, buddy. That's all.
All right. Well, we'll definitely give that to you, won't we, Leon?
Yeah, okay.
or a shirt from Steelberg Box.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's all right. Maybe
you'll get
Scott
one of the
and Leon
2.
should have a bet here. Maybe somebody should have to do something if the other one wins.
Well, that's fine. I'm undefeated in the bet, so I don't think you want to go there.
Scott?
All right, it's on. It's on.
Oh, it's on then, baby. I love it.
Yeah, it's on. The thing is, the only thing I will refuse to do is wear a jersey of some sort. But I will say this: I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, whatever you want to do. I mean, I'll post a picture of myself with something Steelers if they lose.
Okay.
But I don't.
We can do we can do a profile picture until that team's eliminated from the playoffs.
Ooh. That's fine.
Ooh.
With a Bengals logo or a Steelers logo.
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean,
yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
see, I don't involve myself in this stuff because I don't want no Pittsburgh Steelers stuff on anything I own. So.
I'm gonna say, I'm trying to picture Mike's profile with a Steelers. That would be. I'm not sure he'd do that.
No, I couldn't. I'd have to cut off a pinky or something before I do that.
Now, I'm not going to say that if for whatever ungodly reason the Bengals lose for whatever reason, and I don't think that's going to happen, but if they did, I can guarantee you that my Pittsburgh profile picture is going to be a little faded. Just saying.
Well, it has to be a Steelers logo, just like Leon's has to be a Bengals logo.
Well, yeah, I don't understand where all this confidence is coming from. Last time I checked, we won in Cincinnati. So, I mean.
Last time I checked, we won in Pittsburgh, so.
Well, the game's not in Pittsburgh.
Last time I checked, we won the division. Last time I checked, you guys lost to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, right.
And that's happened even more recently than you guys beating us because our quarterback got hurt the first time.
Well, let's enjoy your little division title while y'all at home looking at your hats when the game is on, watching the Steelers. I'm sure
I don't have a hat. I don't pay $40 for a hat, Leon.
Well, hey.
As a Bengal fan, what I've done in the
They'll
past,
be on
I just
sale
wait
soon.
until we get knocked out of the playoff. Yeah, and they'll be like $5, and then I can buy one. But then by then, I'm so disgusted with the team that I don't even buy it. But, and let's not forget our New York Giants fan, Joe Rodriguez, who's with us tonight. How you doing, Joe?
Good. Leon was mentioning that he thanked the Bills for the help that they got. The Giants needed a month's worth of help. and they didn't get that.
Oh,
They need a GM.
well.
I'm sad. Okay, I'm over it.
Well, you're talking to a Steeler fan. So just bring up the fact that you've won 2 Super Bowls, and they've only won 1 in that time.
Well, we've won 6, so, I mean, do the math.
Well, the Giants have won more NFL championships than the Steelers, haven't they, Joe?
Yeah,
Well,
but are you talking Super Bowl era, or are we talking in the last
We're talking about
4 years,
NFL
Leon?
championships. It's all that matters.
Oh, we're talking
Unless
Super Bowl. Come on now.
Oh, yeah.
We're not talking about
Things don't matter unless Leon had been born yet, right,
no,
Leon?
I'm just saying. Let's not talk about before TV. I mean, I'm talking about, within the color TV era. The Super Bowl, Steelers have 6. The Giants have what? 3? 4?
4.
Not even sure. 4. Okay.
Been in 5.
That's
and
4 more than the Bengals.
Ooh.
Yeah, so?
The truth hurts.
What's that matter?
I mean,
that doesn't bother me at all. I
I'm
don't
just
cheer
saying.
for my team because they win.
Well, listen, okay. Y'all haven't won a playoff game since Bush 1 era. So it's gonna continue. You haven't won since 1990? That's the last time you won a playoff game?
Which means actually, Leon. Yeah, that was the Bush era. Never mind.
Bush 1. Bush 1.
There is no Bush 1. All the Bushes suck.
Oh.
They're all idiots. Then put it like last time they won a playoff game, people still thought Milli Vanilli was singing themselves.
Exactly.
But we got the wild card weekend coming up. We'll go to our first game. Joe Rodriguez, the Washington Redskins at the Green Bay Packers at the Washington Redskins.
The Packers really have a lot of problems. They can't protect Rodgers at all. Rodgers is running for his life on every play. He really misses Jordy Nelson the entire year. He never got that resolved. The guys are not making the tough catch for him. Washington's playing very well. They're very talented offensively. They have a lot of firepower, and they have a very opportunistic defense. I like the Redskins.
All right. Scott?
Yeah, I like the Redskins over the Packers. The Packers have that offensive inefficient game with Aaron Rodgers right now, and the Redskins are tough to beat at home. Kirk Cousins is playing high caliber, and then, the only thing I could say is if the Packers can get Lacy to run the ball, they might stand a chance, but as far as I can see, the Redskins are gonna win this one.
All right, Leon?
Yeah, I like the Redskins too. I look for the Redskins to steamroll the Green Bay Packers, quite honestly. I think the Redskins, they play very well at home. You got to compliment Gruden for having the Stones rolling with Cousins. Everybody thought it was just a terrible decision early on in the season. But he knew something now. Not playing RG3. Took a lot of flack for that. Cousins is throwing over 4,000 yards. He's protecting the ball. Offensive line is pretty good. They have a decent running game. Aaron Rodgers and them just got problems. They come into the playoffs just crippled. I mean, the offensive line is horrible. Rodgers is getting knocked around. He's not having any time in the pocket. They don't have a real efficient run game. He does miss Jordy Nelson. He's not throwing the long balls like he used to. He's dinking and dunking. But the majority of the time, he's on his back. That defense has disappointed them. They can't stop the run. They can't really get after the passer unless they really blitz. I think that's going to play in the Redskins' hands. I think Cousins is going to be poised in the pocket. He's not going to make the mistakes. He's not going to make the errors. And like I said, Redskins, they play well at home. I think they're going to steamroll the Green Bay. I don't think it's going to be close, so I'm going to go with the Redskins and win this game easily.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it really looks like the Redskins should win this game. They're coming in with a lot of momentum. They played very well. They got a lot of weapons. Sean Jackson, Pierre Garcon. I really like Jordan Reed at tight end. Like Leon said, they got a good running game. You got Alfred Morris and the rookie. I forget his name off the top of my head. But they've got a good run game. Like Joe said, opportunistic defense. I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Rodgers. They do play good at home. The only thing in this game that, if I'm a Redskin fan, would concern me is that Aaron Rodgers is still a great quarterback. And at times this year, even though the overall trend has been very, very down, there are a lot of problems in Green Bay. There is a massive disconnect between Rodgers and the coaches right now. They got a lot of offensive line problems. But there have been a couple times this year where they've where they just played okay or played pretty good to win, like when they went to Minnesota. Overall, I think Washington's going to win the game, but it wouldn't surprise me just because of the experience factor. And you can generally trust a guy who like Aaron Rodgers to play well, but overall, I would think the Redskins would win, that the trend would continue, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers were able to get a couple of breaks early and get up on the Redskins. But if the Redskins get up on the Packers early, I think it's just over because the defense has been good at times, but it's not great, and the offense just looks totally broken. So I don't know if they can fix it. They might be able to fix it for one more week, but overall, I'm going to go with the Redskins.
All right, the Redskins, I think overall, they have great skill position players on offense. They have speed. They make a lot of huge plays. That's why they score a lot of points. Kirk Cousins' passer rating's 101.6, ranks 5th in the NFL. Jordan Reed has become one of the best tight ends in football. You got Pierre Garçon. Jamison Crowder's played well. You got a deep threat in Deshaun Jackson. So offensively, they have everything you need. I don't think the Packers defense can keep up with them. I think if you're the Packers defensive coordinator, you're trying to limit big plays, which you are every game. I know everybody says that, but with this Redskin team, I think that's really true. I think the Packers offensive line is broken. I do think it'll be a close game because I'm not sold Washington is a great defensive team. And let's face it, Washington has beaten nobody with a winning record this year, I don't believe. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can read into what they've done lately against basically bad football teams, but I'm going to go with Washington also, but I think it'll be a close game. Next game, Scott, Seattle at Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Mike. The Seahawks over the Vikings.
You doze off again? I know you're getting older, but just not that late. I expect that from Joe because Joe's the oldest one here, and he's always dozing off when it's past 8 o'clock. But
took a nap before the show.
I figured you did.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Seahawks are going to win over the Vikings, even with the win over the Pack. I mean, Seattle and Russell Wilson are playing like a team possessed, and if the Seahawks can stop Adrian Peterson, I don't see how the Vikings can win, quite frankly.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I got Seattle in this game. Adrian Peterson is the key to the Vikings. I mean, he can't run the ball effectively. It's not going to open up any kind of passing lanes for Teddy Bridgewater. He struggled with the long ball all year long. They really don't have the weapons, I think, offensively to pose any kind of threat to Seattle defensively. I think the Legion of Boom is going to be in full effect. I think they're going to box in Adrian Peterson. They're going to force Teddy Bridgewater to make mistakes. I think that pass rush is going to get after him. They're just playing like a team. It's always this time of the year where we start talking about Seattle, and they're playing as a lower seed. They're playing as a 6th seed, but they're probably one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs right now. Russell Wilson has had a second-half MVP season. I mean, no one has been as good as he has the second part of the season. He's got his weapons together. Offensive line is starting to click. They're going to have a decent running game. I just don't see how, even Minnesota being at home, I really don't think it matters. I think Seattle has got the playoff experience. It's a team that represented the Super Bowl the last 2 years and was one bad play for being back-to-back champions. I just think they're going into this game with a new mentality, that same mentality that got them to the Super Bowl. And I just think Minnesota's in the way. I think they're the higher seed. I just think they're in the way, and I think Seattle's going to play that way. So I think Seattle's going to win this game easily.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, it's really hard to look at what the Vikings have going right now and see really any way for them to beat Seattle. You watch the Sunday night game against Green Bay, and Teddy Bridgewater had under 100 yards passing. Adrian Peterson had like 60 yards rushing, and they still were able to win. I guess that lends a little bit more credence why we should pick Washington because their offense is broke. But as far as the Vikings go, it just doesn't look like they've got enough firepower. The only way the Vikings could win is the defense is going to have to completely shut down Russell Wilson. They're going to have to pressure him consistently, completely turn off the run game, Then they can't allow Tyler Lockett to make the big plays that he's been making at kick return or punt return. And you're just going to have everything go right. And I just don't see how that can happen. On the flip side, you look at Seattle. There's no reason to think that Russell Wilson isn't going to continue his onslaught the second half of the season, which Mike and I had talked earlier this week. And, I think I think it would be very fair to say that Russell Wilson is deserving of the MVP of what he's been able to do, especially with what he's got back there, the amount of injuries that they've had, the receivers that he's throwing to, the offensive line he's playing behind. He's just getting it done. He looks fantastic right now. And I don't think that that's going to stop. And with the Vikings defense, they're going to have to play perfect, and I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. And, on defense, I just don't see Adrian Peterson rushing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's just not going to happen. So there's just every indication to think that, like Leon said, the Vikings are just in the way. And I think Seattle is just going to wipe them out.
Yeah, these teams played Week 13. It was, 38-7? I think Minnesota's only touchdown was on a special teams play. The big thing I took away from that was Stephon Diggs was held to 2 receptions for 23 yards. And I think Minnesota to have enough success to win the game, Diggs has got to have a big game. I don't think he's capable of it. I do think they do have one thing that can give Seattle trouble. I think Seattle has trouble covering tight ends, especially in the red zone. I think Kyle Rudolph could have a big game. But the only way that happens is if Peterson loosens it up. And, let's face it, against really good defenses this year, Peterson has not really played that well. Minnesota has a very good defense. I think Harrison Smith's one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. Covers the middle of the field really well, helps in coverage great. Unfortunately, against a dynamic defense or offense like Seattle's, which can beat you in many ways, Smith can only do so much by himself. I expect him to be the only member who shows up and does anything, maybe even picks off a pass. I think Seattle wins the game by at least 10 points, probably more. I think Mike Zimmer's done a great job. Borderline Coach of the Year. He's got to be a Coach of the Year candidate with what he's done there. But I just don't see where they've got enough firepower to really hang. And, when you look at the best defenses in the NFL, Seattle still has to be top 2 or 3 at worst. You got Russell Wilson, who I believe should be the NFL MVP of the way he's played. If you look at it, Doug Baldwin was just a good number 2 or 3 wide receiver. Wilson's turned him into a big-time number 1 over the last 5 or 6 weeks. They had to hiccup against the Rams a couple weeks ago, but that happens in the NFL. You lose to teams you're not supposed to lose to, especially when you pretty much know you're in the playoffs and the other team's just playing for their lives, basically, and try to wreck yours. So I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks in a fairly easy win. They were my Super Bowl pick at the start of the year against New England, which, if anybody's laughing, I will have everybody else on here recite what their Super Bowl pick was at the start of the year. And with that, I'll go to Joe Rodriguez, who can tell us what his Super Bowl pick was at the start of the year.
Before I get to that, I'd like to talk about the Seahawks and Vikings, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, I'd rather you just go ahead and tell everybody what you picked at the start of the year.
Okay, at the start of the year, before the season started, I had the Ravens and the Packers. Before you laugh, I'm not going to go down the road that everybody goes down. I want the Patriots and, I'm trying to be a little different. Okay, Seahawks, Vikings.
Well, that's why I went with the Vikings. But, there was even somebody in the show that picked the Packers against the Colts, which was almost as bad as your pick.
Yeah, I don't know who the heck that was.
I think it was Matt.
I know.
No.
Seahawks, Vikings. I also like the Seahawks. However, let me make a case for the Vikings. How they can win this game. The Seahawks offensive line is not very good. If they can keep Russell Wilson from running crazy, I know it sounds weird because he throws the ball very well, but they keep him in the pocket, they have a much better shot. Also, the weather on Saturday is supposed to be in the teens. Seattle's not used to that. So that can really play into the Vikings' favor. They have a really good defense. They're very well coached. If they're not just happy to be there, it can be a game. I look at the Seahawks winning, but I think it's going to be closer than people expect. I think that Bridgewater will give him some problems because he's not a scrambler per se, but he can move. And if he's not overwhelmed by the moment, I think the game can be a close game. The weather can play a factor, and their defense is very good. They can cause some turnovers. So I like the Seahawks, but I like them close.
All right. Leon, Kansas City Chiefs at the Houston Texans.
This is a very interesting game. Kansas City Chiefs have been on a roll ever since they started 1-5. I mean, they've won what was it, 10 straight games. They've looked good. I mean, numbers has been pretty. They've just been a very consistent team throughout the whole season. They play very well on defense. Defensively, they get a lot of turnovers. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Get a lot of interceptions, a lot of fumbles. Offensively, when Jamal Charles went down, I mean, this team did struggle, but they've resurgent. Alex Smith, he's, a lot of people, I've given him a bad rep. I'm not really a big fan of him, but he's just been a very consistent guy running that offense, running Andy Reid's offenses, his West Coast offense to perfection, so to say. I just think the Chiefs are a better team. I think the Houstons have a shot. I mean, if they can get pressure on Alex Smith, I mean, they got one of the best defensive players in the league at J.J. Watt. You've got to neutralize him. The offensive line has got to neutralize J.J. Watt. They've got to run the ball. They've got to take the shots downfield. They've got to establish a run game. I think Houston's only shot is the fact that they're at home. Don't really like their quarterback play. They were in a weak division where they had to play the Jaguars twice, the Colts twice, and they had to play the Titans twice. So, the caliber of their wins. They go 9-7. You question their caliber of the wins. The Chiefs being in the division where they got to play the Broncos, got to play the Raiders. I think they've just been in a tougher division. They have more quality wins. But it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. The Texans are at home, but I just don't see them having enough to come away with the victory. The Chiefs are on a roll. I think they're going to go into the Texans state. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to come away with the win. It won't be pretty, but at this point in the season, you're not looking for pretty. You're just looking for W's to move on to the next level. So I think the Chiefs are going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a close one.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, you make some good points here, Leon. It's you watch Kansas City over the last 10 weeks. It's weird. Once they piled up the 7 in a row, 8 in a row, you start to go, wow, how did that happen? I still can't even believe they won 10 games in a row after watching what they've been like for a lot of the year. But they have played well, especially this month. Alex Smith, he's not just throwing 2-yard passes. He's not just throwing the ball away, scrambling for 5 yards. He's playing well overall, and he's getting the ball downfield, getting Travis Kelce, getting Jeremy Maclin. But there's sometimes where it's difficult for me to picture Kansas City winning a playoff game. They haven't done it in over 20 years, and they come close a couple of times, but if they were at home, I would be more apt to pick them. But on the road, I feel like everybody's going to be Houston knows that everyone's picking Kansas City to beat them probably because of the quarterback situation. But at home, I like Houston's defense in this game. Kansas City is just not quite the same on the road as they are at home. Things just don't go right for the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, and until it changes, I'm going to be picking against them. I really think Houston has a real chance to win this game. I think they can play well at home. They got a great receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. I think they can run the ball. The defense is what is definitely going to be the key. I think they're going to be able to get after Alex Smith and really limit the amount of points. I think he's going to kind of go back to game manager mode, 4-yard passes, throwaways, and I don't think they're going to be able to run very well. And I think Houston's going to be able to get a couple of turnovers and win a very inspired game at home, and then they know their season will probably come to an end the following week. But for now, I think Houston's going to get this done.
All right. I think this game's a complete toss-up. I've changed my mind about 10 times today. Well, thinking about it, well, probably about twice because I've only thought about it like once or twice. But the Chiefs, I mean, when I go back and look at the Chiefs' schedule, I mean, it's true they haven't beat the greatest teams at times. If you look at them, though, they do have a win over Houston in Houston. They lost the game to Denver that they should have won. They lost the close game at Green Bay when Green Bay was actually playing well. They played the Bengals tough. It ended up being a 2-touchdown game, but it was probably closer than that. The problem was they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They lost by 6 points to Minnesota at Minnesota. They beat Pittsburgh, beat Denver. I mean, Buffalo, they beat Buffalo, who is a decent team at times. Luckily for Leon, they were decent last week. Blew out the Ravens, who just a week later beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, for whatever that means. Did have trouble with the Browns and the Raiders, which I don't hold the Raiders against them, but come on, it's the Browns. I don't buy into Brian Hoyer winning a playoff game, but I don't really buy into Alex Smith winning a playoff game either. You look at him, I mean, Houston's defensive backfield I don't think is that great. But their front seven is so good they can make up for it. One of the reasons Joe's Giants upset the Patriots. Their defensive backs weren't that good in Super Bowl 42, but you cannot throw the ball if you're on your back. So I'm kind of torn on this one. Houston's played well lately. I do think Brian Hoyer is a decent quarterback. I do think Alex Smith is decent. DeAndre Hopkins could be a huge thing here. I mean, he's a very good wide receiver. I think he's very underrated. I think he's a top 5 or 6 wide receiver in the NFL, damn near. So as you could tell, I'm still trying to figure out my pick while we talk about it right now.
Got the old coin, Mike?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
I had to use the coin last week.
I'm considering the coin. Did the coin win for you?
I think it was the Lions-Bears I did that, and I think I ended up with the Bears. So did the Bears win? I don't remember.
I don't know. Nobody
I don't remember that game.
No, they lost.
They lost.
Okay, the coin did not work for me then.
I mean, if you look at the Texans last half of the season, they beat the Bengals, which was a good win. They beat the Jets at home. They beat the Saints at home. They go to Buffalo and lose. They played the Patriots. It was a 27-6 game, close game for about 3 quarters. They just never could get the ball in the end zone when they needed to. They struggled to beat the Colts. They blew out the Titans. They blew out the Jaguars. I'm going to go with what my gut tells me, even though my gut's never wrong, I don't think. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans in a close game also with a little bit of an upset. I still don't buy either one of these teams being that great. I think any team in the AFC could go to the Super Bowl except probably these two. I mean, the Chiefs, I could be wrong. They won 10 in a row, but I just don't believe what my eyes have shown me on the field so far just because of the talent level on that team. If you throw Jamal Charles on there, yeah, they win this game and they're dangerous the rest of the way, but he's not there. I mean, they've had a couple guys step in, Spencer Ware and what was it, Kendrick West or something. What the heck's his name, man?
Yeah, Kendrick West.
Yeah, I mean, they've played really well, but I'm going to go with the home team in this just because it's a toss-up. I'm going to go with Houston also. Joe, what's your thoughts?
This game's also a toss-up to me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the Chiefs have an advantage at quarterback now. You know, maybe not next year, but right now.
I think Hoyer's
Smith,
better.
I don't like him. I don't like Hoyer.
I like Hoyer.
I think the Chiefs they play very fast, you know, and this is going to be like a boxer versus puncher type of game because the Chiefs play fast. They like to run those slants and bust it wide open. The Texans like to smack you in the mouth. For me, I think the Chiefs have played a tougher schedule. I think they have more quality wins. 10 in a row is still 10 in a row. In the NFL, Leon could tell you more than anybody, winning a game against anybody is a tremendous accomplishment. You win 10 in a row, that's really something. So I'm going to lean towards the Chiefs. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. I think Andy Reid's a hell of a coach. I like O'Brien, but this is his first go-around as a head coach. I give Reed the edge. So I like the Chiefs close.
All right, Scott?
Yeah, I have to agree with that pick. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat Houston, and I like how Andy Reid has really gotten the team to buy into his philosophy. And then again, the 10 wins in a row. I mean, you can't really. There's nothing to say other than that it's likely going to end up being a streak of 11 after this week. So I like the Kansas City Chiefs without a doubt on this one, actually.
All righty. Well, that means me and Matt will be the only two right on this game. And Leon, you got to start picking different than us. You're down 6 games.
No worries.
Okay.
I'm not. Nah. As long as
You're
I pick
almost
the right one.
mathematically eliminated.
Well, that's fine. As long as I pick the right one, which is coming up next.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get to the Gridiron Mo Game of the Week, check out this word from our sponsors. First, you'll hear a commercial from SteelbergBox.com. Make sure you check them out at www.steelbergbox.com. And then you will hear a commercial from Gridiron Mo. Check them out at www.gridironmo.com. We'll be back right after this message.
I'd like to tell you about our new website, www.steelbergbox.com, a monthly fan box service built to take a fan's passion for the Pittsburgh Steelers to a whole new level. Offering 3 different fan boxes to choose from and several different plans, fans are guaranteed to get way more value in their box than they paid. It's simple. Drop by www.steelbergbox.com. Choose the category and size: men, women, youths, and infants. Then, pick one of our 3 Steelers merchandise fan boxes. After you choose your fan box, hit subscribe. Then choose your monthly plan. You're done. Go Steelers.
This is former All-Pro Leon Searcy. I've got a new interactive app called Gridiron Mo, where you get to call the plays, offense or defense, and a live NFL game. You get to interact with other fans, pick the play, pick the call. That's Gridiron Mo.
Welcome back to the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show. We're Wild Card Weekend. I'm your host, Mike Goodpastor, with my co-hosts, Matt Andrew Scavage, Leon Searcy, and our special guest tonight, Scott Meyer from RealBengals.com, and Joe Rodriguez from New Jersey. So we will start off. We've got the Bengals and Steelers in a wild card matchup. Matt, we already know who you're going to like just because you like to bully me, but go ahead, make your pick.
It's not a bullying thing. I just look at the game, I look at the history. It's still one of those things where now I'm thinking A.J. McCarron's playing this game. It looks every indication really looks like if they could have got that bye week, then maybe Andy Dalton comes back. But you're talking A.J. McCarron in a playoff game, in an environment where Pittsburgh has won repeatedly against a very experienced veteran team with lots of weapons. I just don't see how the Bengals are going to win this game. You know, I respect their defense. I respect the job that Marvin Lewis has done. This is a good Bengal team. If they were healthy, this is one of the best teams in the franchise's history. Andy Dalton had a heck of a year. They got a 2-headed attack at running back. I do like their weapons, especially with Tyler Eifert returning. But the problem is, it's even with those players, it's still a situation where until they win that playoff game, it's really hard to pick them, especially against the Steelers. We've talked all year about this. If the Steelers and the Bengals meet in the first round, I remember week 4 or week 5, this was the nightmare matchup, you said, Mike. So it's
week 4, week 5.
It just looks like
week 10, it wasn't anymore.
Well, I just don't see how it's not with Ben Roethlisberger back there and all the weapons. This is not the matchup that you want. I just think everything favors Pittsburgh. Now, that doesn't mean that Cincinnati absolutely cannot win, but you're asking a lot of A.J. McCarron. And I don't think he's played exceptionally well since he's been in there. He's played good. They've played good enough to win the games that he's played, but in a playoff environment, I just don't see how he's. I really see the game ending up a lot more like it was the last time these two teams played, where Pittsburgh is going to be able to make a big play, and it's just going to be one of those things where, I just think the snake-bitten situation continues for Cincinnati this week. I think Pittsburgh's going to go in there and win.
All right, here's where I differ with you. Number one, A.J. McCarron, other than a game he was thrown in against Pittsburgh, where he did still throw for almost 300 yards in a little over 3 quarters, he did make 2 major mistakes. The thing is this, since then, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. His quarterback rating against the 49ers was 115.6. His quarterback rating against Denver on a Monday night in a huge game was 87.8. His quarterback rating against the Ravens was 103.9. That's a Ravens team that really held down Ben Roethlisberger in kind of the same situation before. I will tell you this. I think this game doesn't even involve who the better team is. I think this game comes down to a couple things. Number one, you got a rivalry. You got a bunch of hotheads. And I think this. I think that the first time the Bengals and Steelers played in Pittsburgh, the Bengals won because Pittsburgh got stupid penalties for throwing punches and doing stupid stuff. I believe game 2, I believe the Steelers got under the Bengals, and the Bengals had a lot of stupid penalties. And the thing is this, when you play pissed off in a football game, normally that will lead you to do stupid things. So I think right here, whichever team keeps their cool wins this game. I think the Bengals are a much better all-around team. I think they have better wide receivers. I mean, Antonio Brown, A.J. Green, pretty much a wash. I think Brown might be better, but I think Marvin Jones is better than Wheaton and the other guy they got, because those guys are not consistently making plays every week. They haven't the last 2 weeks. Correct, Leon?
I disagree.
I defer.
Running back wise, the Bengals are far superior. Offensive line wise, I actually think Pittsburgh's a little bit better on the offensive line. I think the Bengals are terrible. I think the Steelers are average, which makes them one of the better offensive lines now. I think they've really improved since the first game of the season. Defensively, I don't even think it's close. The Bengals are up there with Seattle and Denver, I think, as the top 3 defenses in the NFL. You got 2 guys that have more than 10 sacks. Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap. Dunlap should be a Pro Bowler. He's got 13.5 sacks. And the thing about Dunlap's 13.5 sacks, it's not like he gets them against Cleveland and Baltimore. I mean, his best games this year were against Seattle and Kansas City, 2 very good teams, and Denver. I mean, so the better competition they played, the better he's played. I think the other thing this hinges on is coaching. I'm not a huge Tomlin or Lewis fan, and my reasons are opposite. I think Tomlin sometimes takes chances, like the Seattle to fake kick or the fake field goal attempt where he throws the ball to the guard running out in the flat. I think he sometimes takes too many unnecessary risks, where I think Lewis, especially if McCarron's the quarterback, I think that Lewis during the season, the last 3 weeks with McCarron, it's like he tries to get the lead and hold on to the lead. And if they do that, they lose the game. I mean, it's what he did in Denver. They're dominating the game, and all of a sudden they come out in the third quarter and they throw a total of 3 passes. I think McCarron also has trouble reading zone coverages. The lucky thing is I don't think there's too many defensive backfields worse than Pittsburgh. I think if the Bengals throw the ball on first down and they throw the ball deep, they should have no problem winning the game. Now, I doubt whether Marvin Lewis will do that because in big games he's had the proverbial tight ass before. So I think it comes down to if Tomlin is smart about what he does. I mean, you don't take risk with Roethlisberger. You let him try to beat the Bengals defense, and you pretty much bank on putting 7 or 8 in the box and seeing if McCarron makes a mistake. Now, the only problem with that is I don't think that's the way to beat McCarron. I think with McCarron, you rush 3 or 4, you play zone coverages out the ass, and you wait for him to throw you a pass, because I think that was his problem in college, and I think that's his problem in the NFL. I don't think his pocket presence is that good. I think he is a solid quarterback. The pocket presence can get better as he gets older. The game's a lot faster than it is in college. I think this game's a toss-up. I think another thing that a lot of people are missing, they talk about the history of the rivalry. Number one, this is not 2005. Big Ben's not a young pup no more. Jerome Bettis not running the ball. Troy Polamalu's not playing defense. And I think, people are missing the fact that this is not the 2005 Steelers team. It's not nearly as good as the 2005 Steelers team, and it's not going to be, no matter how much people wish it. I mean, this is basically Big Ben has got to put this on his shoulders and go win the game. In situations like that, he's not been successful the last 5 years. People talk about the Bengals been in the playoffs 5 years in a row, haven't won anything. Steelers have been twice in 5 years, even lost to Tim Tebow. Or this will make 3 times. So last year, Big Ben made a lot of bad throws when Flacco was making plays, and he had to make plays in that game. So, I mean, over the last 5 years, it's not like Big Ben has been a great playoff quarterback. Like I said, he got outdueled by Tim Tebow, and I feel like this. They're not the 05. The Bengals are not the 05 Bengals, who didn't really have a great defense. I think the Bengals win this game. I think Roethlisberger throws 2 or 3 picks. And I think the Bengals win the game 24-21. Joe, what do you think?
Like your Houston and Chiefs game, I've been going back and forth in this game, and I'm going to go with the Bengals in this game, in a close one. I'll tell you why. The Steelers are going to have a very difficult time running the ball without DeAngelo Williams, and he's doubtful for the game. Roethlisberger, to beat them, is going to have to throw 40-plus times. That Bengals defense, if they pin their ears back, it's very difficult to run on those guys. Even with DeAngelo Williams, they would have a hard time. Without him, it's going to be very, very difficult. They can really pressure the passer. And as elusive as Roethlisberger is, he's a humongous target, and he might even get hurt in this game. The Bengals can really bring it. And it would be, and this is why I'm leaning towards the Bengals. They're loaded on offense. They can do whatever they want to do. They have a tremendous tight end, terrific running backs, and excellent receivers. It would be really ironic without Andy Dalton that Marvin Lewis wins his first game, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think McCarron's going to do just enough, and I think they're going to force, as Mike said, stealing something from Mike, but I do agree, I think the Bengals are going to force some turnovers because the Bengals line is going to put a lot of pressure on Roethlisberger because they know he will not be able to run the ball. So I also like a close game. In fact, I like the Bengals ahead and the Steelers scrambling at the end to make it closer than it would have seemed. But like a 2017 game, I like the Bengals.
All right. That's why Joe's my best friend and Matt is not. Scott, you're next.
Yeah, I quite frankly, I think it's a pretty easy pick for me. Cincy over the Steelers. Big Ben, he's winless in the playoffs since Dalton and the gang started playing the AFC North. That streak continues. Bengals have to defend Marcus Wheaton because we're going to be doubling up Antonio Brown the whole game. So we got to make sure that we're on Wheaton really, really well. We got D'Angelo out, Eifertson. I think Reggie Williams has a great game. I think that Roethlisberger's going to end up throwing a couple picks easily because they're not going to have the run game available. And then, as far as Jeremy Hill goes, if he has a good game, the W's sealed. So I got the Bengals over Pittsburgh without a doubt.
All right, that's our show for tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Now, go ahead, Leon. We have 3 in a row going. You're going to screw it up.
Well, let me get this straight. In a game where there's Ben Roethlisberger and what's his name? I don't even know the quarterback name for the Bengals.
A.J. McCarron. Hey, before you say that, let me remind you of this. There was a playoff game 4 years ago where Tim Tebow beat Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, my God. Okay, you're right. A lucky pass. You're right. Lucky pass. Yeah.
Well, a quarterback is not an entire team.
No, he is not. So let me get this straight. In a game with this A.J. McCarron who's had no playoff experience, never been in this kind of environment where every game on the line. Ben Roethlisberger, who's been in 2 Super Bowls and countless players. So Big Ben's going to make all the mistakes. A.J. McCarron's going to be sitting back there like Joe Namath. He's just going to be able to just make all the plays, all the passes, no pressure on him. He's going to have a clean pocket. All the receivers are going to be wide open. He's just going to have a stellar game. So that's what we're saying.
I don't think anybody said that.
Okay.
I think this.
No, well, that's what I'm
This is the thing, Leon. Look at your defensive backs compared to the Bengals.
Listen, you're right. They're probably a little better.
A little better. Pac-Man Jones held Antonio Brown to 4 catches for 47 yards.
Let me just say something. You said that the Steelers in 05, they're not the Steelers of 05. They're better than the Steelers of 05, not defensively, but offensively. The Steelers of 05, everything was contingent upon the bus getting the ball and keeping Big Ben from making the mistakes. That's why they won the Super Bowl. They had a stellar defense. The defense was stellar. They were stellar. But now Big Ben, he's in a situation. But so now Big Ben, all of a sudden in a playoff game against their arch rival, he's going to be the one to make all the mistakes. He's going to force the ball. He's going to have the turnovers. And we're just going to give the receivers for the Bengals just a free lane to just get open and make all. That is crazy. The Bengals are going to lose this game. They're going to lose this game for 2 reasons. One, we're in their head. We're in their head first and foremost. The last game, you're right. When we played the Bengals, the trash talk, I love this kind of game. I love the trash talking. I love the back and forth. I hope the refs don't get flag happy because there's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving. There's going to be a lot of your mama's this, your mama that. It's going to be a lot of cursing. I love this kind of game because it's going to be physical. It's going to be tough. I hope they don't take away from the game because it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. So I'm looking forward to it. But I just believe that in this type of game, in the Bengals home field, this is probably one of the better Bengals teams that they put on the field over the last 20 years. But they're going home. They're going home because the Steelers, they've got the experience. They've been in these type of situations. We've had their number. We beat them the last time at home with A.J. McCarron. I was hoping Andy Dalton played. I hope he takes that cast off because he'll be rusty. He'll throw a couple of picks. Only reason why y'all beat us in Pittsburgh because Big Ben came back. He was rusty. He threw the 3 picks, and the game was still close. The game was still close, and we lost.
You lost.
So all of a sudden, y'all at home, A.J. McCarron is just going to have this stellar game. All the things are going to go right for y'all, and y'all going to beat us. That's crazy. The Steelers are going to beat the Bengals.
Nobody said that A.J. McCarron was going to play a great game.
Well, that's what I heard. I heard all these quarterback ratings of teams that don't even matter.
Not for me. What you heard from me was the defense.
No, I heard from you that in his quarterback rating with this team was this.
Yeah, I gave his quarterback rating. I didn't say he's going to play like that. I'm just saying I was responding to Matt saying he hadn't played well.
But you say he's thrown, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions over the last, couple of games, right?
3 games, yeah.
3 games.
He didn't play well in the big game against Denver where you guys could have seen
this is the big game. This is another level. This is a playoff game. He's at home. All the pressure's on the Bengals. All right, you haven't won, like I said, you haven't won a game since the Bush 1 era, since 1990. Y'all at home. You got all the cards stacked in your favor. Y'all wanted to be in this position. Y'all were hoping for a bye. But this is poetic justice. Y'all haven't won a playoff game in the last 4 years, and what better way than to face your nemesis?
That's where it ends.
And no, it's going to continue. You're going to go home.
D'Angelo Williams is going to play too.
He's going to play in the game. Y'all going to be home after the game.
He's going to play hurt.
Well, he's going to play hurt. All the Steelers need to do is protect Big Ben. He wants this on his shoulders.
Yeah, but you can't protect him against Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap.
Well, the last game
they'll have a plan for that.
The last game they played against the Bengals in Cincinnati, I believe y'all had 1 sack.
Yeah, and I also believe the last game, Andy Dalton got hurt.
Well, listen,
Andy Dalton doesn't play defense.
I'm using the same damn thing you just said, Leon, so you can't argue it.
He don't play. Listen, Andy Dalton, he got hurt. That's just football.
Okay, wait a second, Leon. Why wasn't that just football when Ben Roethlisberger was coming back from an injury?
I didn't gripe. I didn't moan. He threw 3 picks.
Yeah, you did. You said we lost, but Ben Roethlisberger was playing hurt.
Well, he was. He came off. Yeah,
and Andy Dalton got knocked out of the game. So what the hell?
First of all, it's a difference. Okay, Big Ben had an ankle he had a thumb. Okay, he just can't write in cursive now. I mean, that's the big difference. Y'all, he had a thumb.
Yeah, a broken thumb on your throwing hand,
God.
It should not be a big deal.
Oh, no. Well, I tell you what, he's going to get a nice
he twisted his ankle. Hey, you know what? Andy Dalton, this is the first time he's ever been hurt and missed a game. Can you say that for Roethlisberger when he got hurt?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't, but he's...
Now, all I'm saying is this. The 2005 Steelers would have beat the hell out of this Steeler team because their defense was extremely good. Now, the problem is this. I'm saying Big Ben throws the picks because over the last 5 years, the playoff experience of the Steelers has been to get their ass kicked, just like the Bengals. Tell me all the Pittsburgh Steelers on defense that have playoff experience. Tell me the Pittsburgh Steelers that have playoff experience outside of one or two guys.
Not many.
Where they won.
But this is a quarterback.
It's just like in 2000.
But here's the thing. This is a quarterback-driven league. You're telling me that A.J. McCarron is going to outshine Big Ben and get it done, and Big Ben is just going to just make all the mistakes. A.J. McCarron.
Okay, I can tell you this. Hey, 2 Super Bowls ago, Peyton Manning, the legend Peyton Manning, took on a guy in his second year named Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson won the game by 40 points. He won the game because his defense was superior.
That's exactly right.
So you're saying that – so wait a minute. You're putting the Bengals defense in the same category as the Legion of Boom?
I believe this. I believe the Bengals' front four is far superior to what the Legion of Boom was, and I think defensive back-wise, Reggie Nelson and Pac-Man Jones could play for anybody. And George Iloka's pretty damn good, too. I don't think as a whole, no, they're not as good as the Legion of Boom, but the Legion of Boom's front four wasn't near as good.
Okay.
Now, I guarantee the Legion of Boom didn't have one guy with 10 sacks.
I tell you what, if the Pittsburgh played a couple of weeks ago, the Bengals with only 1 sack and 2 hits on Big Ben, we're going to win this game.
Okay, you were also playing a game where the Bengals were trying to cover for the backside because Iloka did not play. Pac-Man Jones did not play.
Correct.
So you're going to play a different scheme. You cannot afford with backup DBs to just go hell-bent after a team. All those guys are healthy now. And like I said, Antonio Brown had a good game last time they played, but the game before against Pac-Man Jones, he had 4 catches for 47 yards. And the Bengals got pressure on Big Ben.
He's going to kill Pac-Man this game. Kill him.
He's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. That's fine. He'll kill him. But you know what? If you want to go on history, the history is this. Who's intercepted more Big Ben passes? The most passes Big Ben's ever had picked off, from one guy, and he's a Cincinnati Bengal, and he's playing this week, and his name's Reggie Nelson.
Yeah. Has it been in the playoffs?
Big plays.
Has it been in the playoffs?
What's the playoffs got to do with this year?
I'm just saying the playoffs is another level. I'm just trying to tell you that. Big Ben.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is this. It's also a different season. In 2003, in baseball, the New York Yankees beat the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox hadn't won nothing in 80 years. They played in 2004. Everybody said the Yankees were going to sweep them. The Yankees get up 3-0. It's just like always. But you know what? Even though they'd been owned by them, they still came back, won 4 straight games, and won the World Series. History is just that. It is history.
You went baseball on.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? That
was
pretty good. But it is. I mean, you know what? All this shit that the New Orleans Saints are never going to win the Super Bowl until they did. And see, the thing is this. The thing about history is this. You may have never done it, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, their first 40 years didn't win anything until they did.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell the Bengals this. When the game is over, they'll be all calling their travel agents, trying to book flights to Cabo because their ass is going home because the Steelers going to win this game. Book it.
Once again, their asses can't go home because they're already there. Because they won the division, they have a better record.
They have a short trip to get home then. How about that? They ain't got far to go.
All right, a short trip I'll give you because none of them live in Texas. We can agree on that, Leon.
Boy, it's going to feel so good.
You know what? It got really quiet in New Jersey. I guarantee you Joe's old ass is sound asleep right now.
Hey,
you there,
Leon,
Joe?
We still doing
I
that
was just enjoying listening to Mike interrupt someone other than me for a change.
It is kind of nice.
He interrupted Leon 100 times.
Yeah, but we also know that I have the brain thing where if I don't say it right away, I forget about it.
Leon,
I like
if
debate.
you ever
why we let it
has
slide.
some sense
If
where
you ever
Matt
see
doesn't.
Mike-
Matt
if you
has
ever see Mike in
Matt has no
person,
sense,
Leon.
so I don't even interrupt him.
Leon, if you ever see Mike in person, it is your obligation to pancake his butt.
First, run on these.
Anytime, Leon.
That's funny.
I think I'm older than Leon, though, so you can't hit somebody older than him.
He'll do it.
That's what I've been banking on, at least. Plus, I was cheering for the Steelers in Super Bowl 30. I can't stand Jerry Jones or Barry Switzer. But, all right, let's go to our final words. Scott, tell us a little bit about RealBengalsFans.com, too, because Leon's a member.
Yeah. Leon's definitely one of our VIP members there at RealBengalsFans.com.
I added him against his will, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, he gets to see the smack talk all day long, I'm sure, in his news feed. We got RealBengalsFans.com, and basically, we have fans that write articles about the Bengals. It's news about the Bengals from fans for fans. We got a forum that's about to come out here this week, likely tomorrow, where we're going to have trivia and all kinds of different fun stuff to do. And then on the Facebook side of things, basically we're a group of almost 7,000 now, real Bengals fans that get together and talk about the team, stay in touch with what's going on, what's happening with injuries, and everything that's about to happen and who we're about to beat next, like on Saturday. So it's a really good time. So you got to come out and join Real Bengals Fans Facebook group and then RealBengalsFans.com. I got to say, I really appreciate you having me on the show, Mike. I was really hoping that I might be able to stop by for this one, especially for what's happening on Saturday with the Bengals about to win. So.
All right. I like how you keep slipping that in. It's like subliminal messaging or something. Hopefully A.J. McCarron's listening, and Ben Roethlisberger. But Joe Rodriguez, final words, final thoughts?
Well, I can just sit back and relax and enjoy this since my beloved Giants have not been in it for 4 years. And I'll be one eye watching the TV and the other eye reading to see if the Giants have interviewed any candidates.
Yeah, and you guys really sucked this year, but you did beat the San Francisco 49ers, which leads me into Matt's Andrew Scavage. You got any final words?
Unfortunately, I've got the kind of ending much like Joe. Just taking a look at what my team's doing and just enjoying the rest of the playoff games. I think we're going to see a few pretty good games this weekend. I'm thinking the Seattle game will be a blowout, but the other 3 games should be good. And we'll definitely see how the trash talking goes when we come back next week.
All right. Leon?
Best time of the year, playoff time. I've been in this situation, played 11 years in the league, 11 straight years I went to the playoffs. I always thought I had an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. I got a crack at it once. Guys that get in this type of situation, you never know when you'll get that opportunity again. Like I said, I was blessed to play 11 years. I had 11 straight opportunities in the playoffs. I think, like Matt said, I think the Seattle game will be a blowout. I think the other games are going to be pretty intense. I think they're going to be very close games. The Steelers and the Bengals game, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I hope the refs don't ruin the game. It's good that they're not friends. It's good that they don't like each other. It's good they've got Twitter beefs and they got Facebook beefs and all that other kind of stuff that kind of ties into the rivalry. It's going to be a very exciting game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think whatever team has the ball last is going to win the game. I think it's going to come down to a field goal or a late minute touchdown, which Ben will probably throw and we'll win, and I'll be twisting my terrible towel in somebody's sports bar. So great time for football. Very exciting. No team is a dominant team. I think the Carolina Panthers 15-1. They can be beat. The Cardinals, they got whooped by Seattle just last week. I think it's a toss-up of who's going to represent the NFC and the AFC in the Super Bowl. So that's even better when you don't have that dominant team that everybody expects to go to the Super Bowl. I think every team has that opportunity to represent their conference in the Super Bowl. So it's going to be exciting to see how everything finishes out.
All righty. Well, you just said it would be a close game after going all through this stuff. I think Big Ben could throw the winning touchdown, too, to Reggie Nelson. And you're going to wave a terrible towel, really?
Who day?
I mean, why do you guys have to copy off of teams that were successful before you were? I mean, the first ever towel waving was the Miami Dolphins white towels in the early 70s, I believe. Is that correct, Matt?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
You're going to compare
you watched the Dolphins 73 championship game. They had 70,000 white towels. They had the towels in Super Bowl VI.
Okay, those are washcloths. Those weren't towels, okay? We've got the terrible towel.
Yeah, because we know there's nobody in Pittsburgh that needs a washcloth.
I knew you were going to go there. I said that.
I was like, that was a pretty good. That was set up on a
I thought you were pretty good on that one, Leon.
That was an alley-oop. That was an alley-oop. You done a good job.
Yeah,
but I can tell you, the Bengals-Steelers game, I think, will be the most intense game. The thing about it is this: no matter what I say, I respect the hell out of the Steelers more than probably any organization in the NFL. And I can tell you this, Leon, just by the way the Steelers react to the Bengals, it goes both ways. You don't hate talk crap to teams that you think are completely inferior to you.
That is true.
So I think no matter how much talk there is, there's doubts on both sides because they have beaten each other. I mean, the Bengals, I think, have only won 2 out of 11 here, out of the last 11, but I think they're like 5 out of 11 or 6 out of 11 in Pittsburgh. So they are capable of beating them. I mean, since I was a little kid, it always came down to the Bengals and the Steelers, and most of the time the Steelers won. But there were a few times they didn't, Leon. Not too many, but there were a few times. Like 1973. We're going to talk History Channel. But I think it'll be a great football game. I think they're two good football teams. And I think this. I think whichever one of them wins has a legitimate shot to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, if you look at it, if Pittsburgh goes to Denver, I think Pittsburgh trashes Denver. I don't know about you guys' take, but I do not think Peyton Manning can get Denver to the Super Bowl. They talk about the great things he did the other day. He was 5 for 9. You know, he gave him a shot of adrenaline, but Brock Osweiler threw for 300 yards almost in the first half. And only one of those 5 turnovers was his fault. So I think they could go there and win. And people might say I'm crazy like Matt, but I think if the Bengals go to New England, the best time to get New England is in the divisional playoff round. They might get some guys back, but those guys, as you said about Andy Dalton if he plays, they're going to be a rusty for at least the first quarter or so. I mean, I think that's the best chance for anybody to beat New England, that first playoff game in New England. And from there, I mean, if Pittsburgh gets to the championship game against New England, they can put up enough points to win the game. And if the Bengals have to go to a Denver or host Kansas City, I think the Bengals are a better team. So I think it's a huge game. And basically it's for the AFC North Championship because, like I told Matt before, if you're the division champion but you're not playing in a divisional playoff round, it don't really mean anything. So overall, I think it'll be a great game. I think all 4 games will be competitive. I think Minnesota will find a way with their defense to stay in the game. I think Seattle pulls away, wins it by 10 to 14 points, but I don't think it's going to be a whitewash like the last time. But I want to remind everybody to check out realbengalfans.com. Also, check out SteelbergBox.com if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. A lot of great merchandise there. Leon, did you get your box yet?
I'm still waiting. Have you sent anybody
your address so they could send it to you yet?
I send it to you. You're supposed to get it to my.
You did not.
That's what happened.
We went through this.
I did.
I thought we had this discussion like 3 weeks ago.
Leon, hey, Leon, I know what you did, Leon. You got my home phone and my cell phone confused, probably.
Well, Listen,
I have people do that all the time. They text my home phone and then swear they texted me, and then when we figure it out, they dial the wrong number. So.
You're a saboteur. That's what it is. You're a saboteur.
I'm a saboteur.
Yeah, that's it. You didn't want to get my kid.
I kind of like that. You know what? I think from now on this show, my nickname is going to be the Saboteur.
Yeah, I like that. Saboteur.
You know, Matt's the bully. Yeah. I'm the Saboteur. You're the Steelers fan that got beat in the playoffs and has to eat crow for a year. But so also remember to check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. Once again, SteelbergBox.com, www.steelbergbox.com. Go check out RealBengalFans.com, Real Bengal Fans Facebook page. Check out the Grueling Truth Facebook page. Check us out on Spreaker. Just check us out all over the place. A reminder, later this week, Friday, it'll be a show out, top 10 wild card games in history with myself and Matt Andrew Scavage. Matt, you got a special 49ers weekly show tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, we're going to do our season review, and we're going to be interviewing former Niner offensive tackle Steve Wallace, talk about his career and wrap up the season. So, yeah, that'll be the last show of the year, and then we'll look on to 2016.
And if you're a Bengal fan, check out the BengalFans.com Real Trivia Show, which we taped the second matchup in the first round tonight. That'll be available tomorrow on our Facebook page, Spreaker and Stitcher, so make sure you check that out. I think we already did our final words, so, guys, we'll reconvene next week for the divisional playoffs, where the Bengals will be in New England, Leon.
Exactly.
No.
There you go. We're going to leave with that being the final comment. That was Scott Meyer who said exactly. Yeah, I mean, the Bengals are going to win anyways because 3 out of 5 people here picked the Bengals. And I only set up Scott to be in here so I wouldn't be by myself. I didn't know what Joe was going to pick.
Just make sure all the Bengals fans have the yellow pages because they got some really good U-Hauls so they can pack up once the season is over. So make sure
that's what all the Steelers do because nobody wants to live in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm just saying when the season's over.
Did you ever own a house in Pittsburgh, Leon?
I did not. Hey, I'm a
Leon, you gotta
boy.
get a.
I spent my off season in Florida. I wasn't going to spend it in Pittsburgh. Hell,
why not?
I barely survived the winters. Hell.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right. Yeah, they didn't have no wash rags either.
Oh,
You gotta get a We Day shirt.
Oh?
A We Gay shirt is what he said, I think.
No,
so
We
if you
Day.
ever meet Matt, you need to take care of him.
I'm not getting touched by Peyton Manning like your other buddy that visited our show.
That made no sense. Who's our other buddy that visited? Oh, Dave Searcy.
Dave Searcy.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Dirty Dave. Dirty Dave's what we'll call him. That was one of the classic moments of the year. You need to put out like a highlight audio of the year because that was one of the.
I will do that. I will try to put a montage, a season in review of our best moments.
Yeah, just leave out all the times I screwed up. We had to edit it out. And just finish the show with Leon telling why the Steelers are going to beat the Bengals. We do that, it'll all be good after the Bengals win. So, and if the Bengals win next week, Scott's invited back to the show so he can talk a little trash to Leon.
Yeah, that's Scott. Don't worry, you're not invited back.
Hey, Scott. Hey, it was nice talking to you, Scott. See you next year.
And don't forget the profile picture bet now.
Yeah.
It's on. It's on.
That's an even bet because Scott Meyer is just as popular around the country as Leon Searcy.
Yeah,
hey, that's not saying much. I'm just saying.
Scott's writing a book, too. He's writing a book about this week when we finally beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's going to be a really big book. It's awesome, yeah.
Oh, boy. Hey, I was going to say it's going to be
all
one
right,
page.
so
Bengals lost.
All right, so for Joe Rodriguez, Scott Meyer, Leon Searcy, Matt Andrew Scavage, I'm Mike Goodpasture. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.